Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. In today's episode, we'll be talking about ancient technology. The other day, I was at a friend's house, and we were waiting to watch a football game, and it didn't come on to another hour. So I said, let's find something else to watch. And I found a show. The host of the show's name is Grant Hancock. He's an archaeologist. He just goes to different parts of the world and does research on like the pyramids and all that architecture and just ancient technology from thousands of years ago. And he's just uncovering a bunch of stuff that we once thought was true to not be true anymore, that things are way older than we thought. So that, changes the game right there. And the guy he was talking to about the pyramids and just different things was like, well, why do we have like pyramids here and then there's some pyramids on the other side of the world? And there's this certain thing that's 10,000 years old, and it's the same thing that we're finding over here on this other side of the world. And at that time, I was getting up to get some water, and I just turned and said to my friend, I was like, they were all getting the same downloads at the same time. And what I mean by downloads is ideas, cosmic ideas. And I did a show on cosmic ideas. I think it was called Cosmic Inspirations. And I said that we all get, not all, but a lot of us get the same idea, but only some of us act on them. That's why they're sprinkled, because not everybody's going to act on something inspirational, an idea that they get, and then some people will. So it needs to be sprinkled out if we want to bring that idea into the physical world, because ideas come from the spiritual world. They just come in, because we all had that same situation. We'll just be chilling and we'll say, oh, I got an idea. So where did that idea come from? It just popped in your head. It's just almost a gift from the universe. And then when you have that idea, you can act on it and bring that out of the spiritual world into the physical world. So I was telling them, well, I just said that. I just mentioned it. I said they all got the same downloads, same idea at the same time. That's why some of the ancient stuff back then would be found in different places around the world, because that's the timeline that those ideas were on. I mean, back then, nobody received any airplane ideas, because it was too far back. Airplanes really wasn't a part of that lifestyle back then. It wasn't, there wasn't there yet. So they just had their technology and their, whatever they needed to navigate the world at that time. And my guess would be a lot of it had to do with the stars. A lot of their technology had to do with reading the universe, the language of the universe, and they figured out how to map things out. And everything they had was kind of according to like that, and just their regular lifestyle on the terrain of the earth. Then it made me think, why wouldn't one side of the world get super advanced ideas from the universe, and why would one get a certain thing like just pyramids and one get airplanes? Is because if we're going to explore the world, we gotta kind of be able to walk into a whole different country and have somewhat of a clue of what their stuff is. We might not be able to actually know exactly how they did it. And this is just modern day I'm talking about. Modern day or back in the day, but the ideas that we get from the universe is always going to be uniform to the time now that the people are on the planet all at the same time. Because when we travel, we have to be able to recognize something. Because imagine back in the pyramid days, they're living their life over there and they're like, all right, let's go check out the other side of the world. And then there's airplanes and iPhones and all this stuff. And they might have had that type of stuff back in the day too. We don't really know yet for sure. But it wouldn't really make that much sense to have two drastic levels of technology or maybe even architecture, because we would spend too much time trying to teach each other how all this stuff works instead of being able to keep moving forward. If it was just drastically two different things, the people who had something, that would have something too advanced, well, more advanced than the other people, would have to keep going back to square one to teach new people that came in, like, hey, this is here's a power button to turn this thing on. They'll be spending so much time doing that instead of moving forward. And it seems like if everything was universal, kind of, universal ideas, kind of on the same wavelength, but different, because it's, we got different stuff, but it's not that far off. There might be a couple of new features on one phone, and then another brand has something a little different, but we can still adjust pretty easily because that idea came in at around it's the same level. It's still the same level, just a little different. Because if it was too different, we wouldn't be able to feed off of each other's creations to build something new. So that's kind of why we get the same downloads at this around the same level of downloads or ideas during the timeline that we're at. Because if you notice now, we don't get any ideas on, well, nobody has gotten an idea, the exact idea on how they moved the stones to build a pyramid. We can look back and do research and try to figure out how it was done, but nobody has actually got that blueprint, that cosmic blueprint on how to do that. And I would think the reason why is because we don't need it in this modern society, this timeline that we live in, like right now, present day. We can build a pyramid, but it wouldn't be the same way they did it because we have different technology now. So all of our ideas that we get now are gonna be along this timeline. So everything's kind of like a stair step. It's a stair step. Like we can look back because we built new stuff off of previous stuff. We make previous stuff a lot better in our advancements, from just previous stuff. So the way we can maybe figure out how the pyramids were made is to figure out what was before the pyramids. Because there was something before the pyramids. And if we can figure out what that technology was, then it would stair step us up to how they made the pyramid. Because that's the same thing we do, like say with our iPhones. We went from flip phones. So we started out with flip phones, or not even flip phones, just, the old style cell phones. And even just the house phone. And we kind of like stair stepped up to the iPhone or a touchscreen. So if somebody in the future wanted to figure out how we made iPhones, say an iPhone was like a pyramid. They were, in the future, they were just as confused how we did this because it was so far back. They would have to go back and look at the house phone and then find, then do the stair step up to like a Nokia phone or whatever, a flip phone. And if they keep finding more phones, then they eventually get to the iPhone. Because we just have to get to the timeline. Well, we have to realize that there's a timeline of And it's all like puzzle pieces. It's like find timeline 1 of technology, then 2, then 3. And then as you go up, then you end up at the pyramid or the iPhone. So we just have to go a lot farther back. So that's kind of, it seems like that would be proof that there was something way before the pyramids, because we usually build off of the past to make the future better. But I'm gonna end this right here. Until next time.